note to self. Don't come so late that you've heard all the other speakers and you're thinking, I've said everything. So, first of all, thank you, Simone. I won't ever say yes again. Here to talk about innovation, perhaps a little bit more than others, and to try and create some credibility for myself. I was the daughter of a bankrupt father. I was very privileged that he went bankrupt because there was only one way up. I had a job at 18. And the gift that my parents gave me was they gave me a great education, which I duly was going to waste by turning into a golf professional. So I was the rebellious child, and I hadn't realised actually the enormous opportunity of my international upbringing. I grew up in Hong Kong. I was born in Germany, and I went to school in Scotland, which I can highly recommend as an upbringing. I'm going to talk to you briefly about my soap story because I made my money selling bars of soap. And I'm going to blow some myths about all this thing about courage and being an imposter, and I'm going to challenge some of the things that people have talked about today, because a lot of it's rubbish. And lots of it's really fundamentally very good, but all of it is very difficult if you don't act. Enterprise isn't easy. It's the only thing I know about other than I'm quite a good triathlete. And I can tell you that it's a very unperfect world, and the idea of being perfect is something that never occurred to me, because another speaker said that her parents made her feel she was perfect, and my parents didn't do that at all. And I definitely wasn't perfect. So I'm going to make you a bit uncomfortable. I'm going to challenge you a bit, and I'm going to tell you to be really un-British. That's the other annoying thing about Carla, because she talked about being American, and actually I have a great deal of respect for being, first of all, what you want to be, but actually being less British. Perhaps that's something to think about. I'm going to try and cover a bit about what they refer to, I believe, in business now. They've learned a bit about it, your skill set. I'm going to try and talk to you about the complete lack of confidence. I got a fantastic email that reduced me to tears, so more tears, but I was even better. I was standing on Earl's Court Station when I read the email. Because I was asked at a speech in Ireland recently, how was it you could stand up and do public speaking so confident? And I took up my shirt. This is why I wear black now, because I was wearing pink that day and the sweat was showing across here. And the woman wrote to me and said, "You changed my life." And that reduces me to tears every time. So I would like you to challenge your status quo. At whatever level you are today, you can be bigger, leaner, meaner. You may not be slimmer. I work all the time to be slimmer. But with a bit of planning and some real application, that's really my message, because it's all sod all use spending time here if you don't do differently. So can you just write down on a piece of paper, I don't care how much noise you make, I'm going to keep talking to you, and I'm actually going to tell you a bit of a poem. But why don't you write down 3 things that you are going to practice at being different, and you have to practice them for 21 days, or else it will not work. I have a real secret for you, which is get one of those stupid little stickers, nick it from the stationery cabinet at work, and stick it to either the face of your watch or your mobile phone, because then every time you look at it, you'll remind yourself not to swear, which is what my husband told me this morning. So I'm going to talk through a poem, tell you a bit about my skill set, and hopefully challenge you to do a few things differently. So crucial skills: practice what you preach, start with yourself, shadow, share, teach. Business is a tough journey. Be prepared to make progress mistakes. Sooner the decision, conclusions you'll make. I was a one-man band at the age of 23 when I started my company, and that's a massive advantage because I genuinely knew nothing. So for those of you that have got daughters or children, tell them to start early, because it's a great way to cheat the responsibility system. No encumbrances, no accountability, did as I please. And the truth is, when all things are equal, which one of the other speakers talked about, is actually hard work can make the difference. I'm no brighter, no more educated, and I'm useless at a lot of things. The only thing I can do is sell, which was great, because I sold my way out of trouble many times at school, during my childhood, to my parents, and then at work. When I first started Pacific Direct, I was a one-man band with no ambition, but I did set myself personal rewards. So in return for the 3 things that you write down on a piece of paper, what is your reward? Rewards for me in the early days of Pacific Direct were not significant to you, but they were certainly significant to me. Waxing my legs. That was a reward. I didn't have much time for myself. So small rewards can make a massive difference. Let me tell you, if you have the confidence of wax legs, you might pull. The paranoia of failure is fantastic. I recommend it to anybody. Having had a bankrupt father, which was a great gift, I was driven by the idea that all I wanted to do was get enough money together to give my children a great education. It's not about the money. And what I knew is that I knew if I could challenge the status quo, and if I could do things differently, and I could just question stuff with why had never been beaten out of me, although they tried, then I thought I could do something better and different. The poem goes on. Pick yourself up, be ready for the fight. Small advantages, fleet-footed and bright. Lead by example, strive more than the rest. Be memorable, be fearless, challenge, aim to be the best. Business books read, by the way, they're very cheap, got a bit more expensive recently. Enlightening pills to absorb and apply. Set your own targets and keep asking why. Start with nothing, it's possible, you know. Win, transform, henceforth you grow. Innovation. My goodness, did we innovate. So I began a business as a one-man band for 2 years, and everybody in the industry selling soap to hotels used to have offices. I was at this one-man band. So I had to work out a way where I could be delivering goods to the Dorchester at 6:45 in the morning, whilst if there were faxes, yes, it's that long ago, coming into my inverted commas office, orders could be dispatched even though I wasn't there, mainly because I was carrying around my huge mobile phone trying to get meetings. So what I did is I just let my warehouse know that they were my office. I didn't actually have an office, and in my first meeting with the Dorchester, I lied blatantly about my massive warehouse under my desk. 10,000 pre-threaded sewing kits, 3 years of stock. Gather around you an amazing family of support. I am enormously privileged to have selected my husband with sheer brilliant recruiting skills. He is the best looking man in the world, and he gives me the freedom to succeed. Don't suffer fools. Move on, be brave. Practice less sleep. I can highly recommend it, and you can breastfeed. I won't go into the other details of stuff that I juggled, it's probably not right. Whilst making sales calls, let's just leave it at that. Strategy. You need a strategist. I didn't know what strategy was for about 8 or 9 years. I didn't know what enterprise was either. I was told I was an entrepreneur when I finally went to course, not an education. And by that stage, I was doing £4.5 million worth of business, which is all a bit of a surprise to me. I was just trying to do my best. So how high are you aiming? If an idiot like me can run a £4.5 million company off an Excel spreadsheet without a business plan for 9 years, there is potential for you. Cash flow misery, budget, management first. If the numbers don't stack, it's not what it's worth. Grown-up steps in company development are hard. Frugal, be patient, push focus, smart. It's hard. Raising finance, use the bank if you can. Build, reinvest, hold equity. That's your best plan. Find or make a niche, calculate steps, be brave. Be passionate about the team, delegate, or you will end in an early grave. I was rubbish at all of those things. Practice your unique pitch. Deliver it with aplomb. Be far less British. Love your shadows. Look forward on. Maximise your advantages. Sell into the dark. Travel economy. Lead by example. Please is free. Leave your mark. I have to say that when I sold Pacific Ret, I had the opportunity to finally travel with my husband on my own. And even though we have a young family, when we finally went travelling, we still turned right on the bloody aeroplane. And because of habit, I still booked economy flights. It's just insane. And I always wanted to turn left. I still have not turned left 5 years on. So some sweaty naked moments. I learned to export. My strategy was rubbish. Actually, truthfully, the early days of export were, I used to go out to Asia to try and sell products, and I figured that if I stop in Dubai on the way home, I could get a tan and piss off my hockey friends. So the fact is that actually you should do stuff that's fun. and it is about putting some of life first. My first recruit came off the hockey pitch. Genius. She was the second noisiest person. Scary networking. Age 23 and 24, I would sit in my car before, say, a hospitality event, and I would shake, and I would be terrified. Actually, my first appointment, I was even wearing borrowed clothes, so that was pretty scary in itself, because my first appointment was with the Dorchester. My grandmother was my strategist. She said fresh coffee and orange juice, and I tell the story because it's amazing what experienced people can teach. But I used to go into these large rooms with, actually I expect more than 80% blokes. And you can either dive to the coffee table, or you can just pull your shoulders back, stick your breasts out, make a mark. So halfway through, actually a bit more than halfway through, the vitality of planning came into my business, and I learned some really important lessons. Mostly that with a plan I probably would have done a lot better. I took a £4.5 million business to 18.5 million and an EBITDA of 664,000 in 9 years to an EBITDA of £3.3 million 8 years later. I can recommend planning. Vanity has no place in business. If you can praise others before yourself every time, all the faster you will succeed. Ignorance is not bliss. You have to know the costing of your price and your product and your service, and you have to be meticulous in detail. Targets and tenacity are absolutely useless without training. There's that stupid British rule that says, well, if I train them, they'll go. What's worse, don't train them and they stay? Ambition, there's nothing wrong with it. It's ammunition. And actually, aggression is wrong, but assertiveness is right. Most of all, listen and look at your market competition. When you innovate, you have to study what the others are doing. In time, experience strengthens possible success. Share wisely, play fairly. Consistency, nothing less. Every plan evolves and needs a tweak. Move swiftly, study the competition. Listen to your competitor and your customer. Let them speak. Intend always to deliver brilliant customer service. Things go wrong. Be apologetic, but never feek. On the worst lonely days, own it. It's yours to gain. Make the sacrifice worth it. Dodge the drops. Laugh in the rain. Lessons learned. I nearly lost Pacific Direct in 2001 after September the 11th. I by then had juggled foot and mouth, not personally, actually sometimes. And SARS in Asia, and then September the 11th happened, and then they started talking about a war, and if I'd seen Osama bin Laden, he would have been mine. And I just had my second baby, which hadn't gone terribly well, and then somebody sued me in America for $1 million. It wasn't going to plan, and I would have given Pacific away for 50p, because I wasn't doing what I was good at anymore. I was starting to do the stuff that I didn't have the skills in, and then of course my husband shipped a container load of goods to Korea and not Croatia, so that made an interesting discussion table. I nearly gave up. I cried in my car. I had to let 33% of people go. I risked my home. I'll let Charlie know that a bit later, actually. I had to swallow my pride and go begging to suppliers, and I became much more behaviourally self-aware. So it's a hell of a journey, this innovation thing, and without innovation you don't grow. And I think innovation is about self first, and then the people hopefully that you can gather around you. So the younger you start, the easier it is. I'm rubbish at innovation now. I'm terrified of getting it wrong because I'm old. Export your socks off, research, be digital, geek, whiz. Invest to progress, stay current with times. Read by sector experts, know your market and how it drives. That's how you make money. It's hard work. People grow value when respected and empowered. Task them, challenge them, target, odd socks, gin, and flowers. Set goals, share your vision, live for values, let them own the mic. Genuinely journey fun. Teams win when they fight. So, not much more. Focus is a dirty word in the enterprise community because we're all rubbish at it and we laugh about it, but the truth is, in order to succeed in life, we have to have focus. And I know it's very late, like most things, still the uptake. And I think also innovation comes in being creative. So when you advertise, why do it in the same box as everybody else does it? Why not do it in a cloud vision? Why not do it in the style of your advert? I employed my first big general manager when I was paying myself £24,000, and he, I'll tell you that later, just say, I've got to work up to his number. But I advertised in the Times, and I had a 7-week argument with the Times because I was taking one of the 1/8 pages, which cost £7,625 in 2002, and everybody had to read my ad like that because I managed to get them to print it on his sign. It just made me laugh, but I thought, actually, we want people that laugh at Pacific. Nicola and some other people are just going to hand out a name card to you because I want to leave you with this very powerful message, and I really mean it from the heart. You have to do things differently to make a mark. Stop being, you know, Vogue, GQ, what is it called, you know, whatever floor is. Don't wear camouflage just because everybody else is. In fact, wear odd socks, turn up to interviews in bare feet. There are stories that people now tell me about stuff I did, and I think, oh my God, did I do that? And I think actually I was just being me, which was unruly and challenging, and I thank God that my parents didn't quite knock that out of me. The focus thing is really important, so be really, really passionate about the things you want to achieve, but don't be afraid of having fun around the edges and about being different and being you. Stick to your knitting. Demand more from everybody, but do it nicely. Nicely is free. It's up to you how you behave. I've met some awful businesswomen, and I've met equally awful businessmen. Which one do you want to be? Recognise your weaknesses at the outset and soar with your strengths. The momentum of the power of many is far more powerful than the momentum of the few. Be utterly passionate about the statements that you make and put people first at all costs. I've actually sacrificed customers because of the way they've been rude to my team on the phone, and that's been worth every penny. I know my team would have, actually they might have done it to me. But it's sod all use without action. And so I implore you ladies, when somebody asks you to do something uncomfortable, wear black so nobody can see your